Sheikh Tahnoon's empire has now amassed $1.5 trillion over many different assets and many different companies.
This man controls $1.5 trillion. That's more money than the entire economy of Spain. He bends Silicon Valley and Wall Street to his will, and you've probably never even heard his name. Buckle up. So here's the deal, folks. When you think of Abu Dhabi royalty, you picture the public king, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the president, the guy shaking hands with world leaders on TV. He's worth around $30 billion all on his own, but he is not the most powerful man in that family. Not even close. The real power sits in the shadows, behind a pair of dark sunglasses. And today, we're pulling back the curtain on him. His name is Sheikh Tahnoon bin Zayed. He's the deputy ruler of Abu Dhabi, the national security advisor, and the man they call the spy sheikh. And here's what makes him different from every other royal you've ever seen. He doesn't want the spotlight. He almost never gives interviews. He's basically always wearing dark aviators, so you can't read his face when he's making a deal. Bloomberg literally described him as part Gulf prince, part tech entrepreneur, and part James Bond villain. And once you see the numbers, you'll understand why. Let's start with the money, because the money is insane. His own personal fortune is about $10 billion. Cute, right? But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Sitting above that is his family's collective fortune. The House of Al Nahyan, the richest family on planet Earth, worth over $300 billion, all built on the fact that Abu Dhabi sits on roughly 6% of the world's oil. But even that's small change compared to what he actually runs. In March 2023, Tahnoon was made chairman of the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. That fund alone holds around $1.1 trillion. He also chairs a company called the International Holding Company, which exploded from a tiny fish farming business into a $455 billion giant. Add in the bank he founded at age 23, a $115 billion investment firm built to go toe-to-toe with Wall Street, and his AI empire, and you get one man steering over $1.5 trillion. Let me put that in plain English. $1.5 trillion is roughly the entire market value of Amazon. It's enough cash to buy every single team in the NFL, the NBA, baseball, and hockey combined, several times over. And the guys who manage money for a living, the biggest private equity titans on earth, they fly into Abu Dhabi and beg for a 10-minute meeting with him, because getting even a sliver of that money to manage sets you up for life. And it's not just the famous funds. He runs a private family empire called Royal Group, a web of companies employing over 27,000 people that acts as the family's aggressive deal machine. He's got another firm built in record time, staffed with 90 top investment pros, designed to compete head-to-head with Wall Street giants like Blackstone. 2 decades ago, he even dreamed up Al Maraya Island, the skyscraper-packed financial district where all these deals get done. As Bloomberg put it, in Silicon Valley, access runs through Stanford connections. But in Abu Dhabi, all that power runs through one man, and it's personal. Now, to really get how quiet Tahnoon is, you have to see how loud the rest of his family is. Because these guys do not hide their money. They throw it in your face. Start with the public king himself, Tahnoon's brother MBZ. On top of being worth $30 billion, he keeps a personal aircraft collection that includes a Boeing 747 worth around $450 million, fitted with spas and meeting rooms to fly the whole royal family at once. The family also owns about a dozen palaces around the world, including a French chateau outside Paris that once belonged to the favorite mistress of King Louis XV. Take his brother Sheikh Mansour. You might know him as the owner of Manchester City, the football club he bought back in 2008 and turned into a global powerhouse. But that's just a hobby. Mansour owns a fleet of super yachts worth around $1.5 billion. One of them, called Blue, is over 500 feet long with 2 helipads and 40 cabins. Here's the kicker. Just to fill that one yacht's fuel tank costs about $640,000. And keeping his whole fleet running costs an estimated $400,000 a day, every single day. That's like buying a brand new Lamborghini every morning just to keep your boats floating. Then there's the cousin they call the Rainbow Sheikh. He's worth $20 billion and holds the actual Guinness World Record for the largest car collection on Earth, 718 vehicles. He keeps them in pyramid-shaped museums. And his crown jewel? A drivable replica of a 1950s Dodge truck, built 64 times bigger than the original. It weighs 100,000 pounds, the same as a fully loaded Boeing 737. It's the size of a 5-story building. And get this, there's a full 4-bedroom apartment built inside the cab, with a kitchen, a living room, and a bathroom. So that's the loud family. Now picture Tahnoon sitting quietly in his sunglasses, controlling more wealth than all of them combined, barely making a sound. That contrast is the whole story. But don't think for a second the spy sheikh lives modestly. Let's take the tour. First, the palaces. The crown jewel of Abu Dhabi is Qasr Al Watan, the presidential palace, worth around $475 million. It covers 380,000 square meters, which makes it almost 3 times the size of the Pentagon. It took 7 years and 150 million man-hours to build. The central dome is 120 feet across, and the main chandelier is made from 350,000 individual pieces of crystal. Then there's his yacht, the Maria. It's 410 feet long, worth $250 million, and the backstory is wild. It was originally built in Poland in the 1990s as a Russian spy and research vessel. Tahnoon's people gutted it, rebuilt it in Greece, and turned it into a floating mansion. It's got a nightclub, a spa, a sushi bar, a cinema, and 27 rooms served by a crew of 60. And the man famously sits aboard it negotiating billion-dollar deals over casual games of chess as the sun comes up over the Persian Gulf. Imagine closing a 10-figure deal between chess moves on a converted spy ship. That's a Tuesday for this guy. For flying, he skips the usual private jets. He owns a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, the kind of plane that normally carries 250 passengers, except his is fitted for just 50 people in total luxury. Heated floors, a master bedroom, a gourmet kitchen, a dining room, and a walk-in closet with a biometric safe. Oh, and the bathroom on this jet? It's 2,300 square feet. That is bigger than the average American house. A bathroom on a plane. But here's the detail that tells you everything about this guy. On his property by the sea, he built a custom Japanese-style compound, and the whole thing went up in under a year because Tahnoon acted as his own architect, prompting the AI chatbot ChatGPT over 500 times to design the blueprints exactly the way he wanted. The man designs his homes by talking to a computer, and the family doesn't just buy boats and cars. In 2017, Abu Dhabi bought the Salvator Mundi, a painting attributed to Leonardo da Vinci, for $450 million. To this day, it's the most expensive painting ever sold. That's the price of a small country's entire economy for one piece of painted wood smaller than a poster. Now, here's where Tahnoon stops looking like a typical rich royal. Because while most people picture Gulf princes partying, this guy is a disciplined black belt athlete. In fact, he's known as the Godfather of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the entire country. The origin story is amazing. Back in 1993, while studying in America, he watched the very first UFC event and got hooked. So he walked into a gym in San Diego and signed up, but he didn't tell anyone who he was. He registered under the fake name Ben. He showed up first, left last, and volunteered to mop the mats, a chore usually dumped on beginners. It was months before he finally admitted to his coach that he was actually a royal prince. And he didn't stop there. He went home and created and funded the world's most prestigious grappling tournament. Then he made jiu-jitsu a mandatory subject in Abu Dhabi public schools. Today, over 76,000 kids are learning it from 600 imported Brazilian coaches, all part of his master plan to eventually get jiu-jitsu into the Olympic Games. This isn't a lazy royal. This is a calculating, disciplined operator who plays the long game in everything he touches. So you've got the money, the toys, the discipline. But here's the part that earns him the Spy Sheikh nickname, and it's the real reason he matters. Remember, this man isn't just a banker. He's the country's spy master, and reporting has tied him to some seriously shadowy operations. There was an app called ToeTalk, marketed as a free messaging service like WhatsApp. Millions downloaded it, but according to the New York Times, it was secretly a mass surveillance tool used to track users' conversations and locations. He was also linked to a project that reportedly hired former American intelligence operatives to hack the phones of rivals, dissidents, and journalists. And lately, he's pivoted hard into the future, artificial intelligence. He chairs a massive AI company with over 25,000 employees and launched a sovereign AI fund chasing a $100 billion target. He's struck deals with Microsoft, OpenAI, Oracle, and NVIDIA to build a giant 1-gigawatt AI supercomputer cluster called Stargate. His own office reportedly runs on 10 AI agents for every one human employee. But here's the maneuver that shows you how he really operates. Just before the 2025 US presidential inauguration, companies tied to Tahnoon bought a major stake in a crypto firm owned by the Trump family, $500 million worth. Soon after, he had remarkable access to the White House. And shortly after that, the US government, which had been blocking advanced AI chips from the UAE over national security worries, suddenly reversed course and agreed to send 500,000 of the world's most advanced chips to Abu Dhabi. Reporters were quick to connect those dots. To get there, his AI company even cut ties with its old Chinese tech partners to satisfy Washington. He picked a side in the global tech Cold War, and he picked America. So there it is, $1.5 trillion, a spy ship, a palace 3 times the Pentagon, a jet with a bathroom bigger than your house, and a black belt who mops his own mats. But the real headline is this: Sheikh Tahnoon isn't just buying yachts and paintings like royalty used to. He's quietly buying the technology and the political access that will shape the future. The the most powerful man you've never heard of might just be the one designing the world you're about to live in.